Hello everybody, we come from Belgium.
Goedemorgen allemaal, wij zijn Roos en Suus uit Nederland. Oftewel, good morning everyone.
Good morning everyone. We come from Campobasso, Bertini, Montini, Cuoco High School.
Bon dia.
Hello, my name is Gustav Claesson.
And my name is Fred Lundahl, and we come from Sweden.
Bonjour à tous. Je m'appelle Cher Paul et j'habite en Irlande.
Wunderschönen guten Morgen. Bonjour à tous et à toutes.
And a warm welcome here in the European Parliament in Strasbourg.
Dear officials, delegates, teachers, good morning. We are from the Czech Republic. Yes, Czech Republic, not Czechoslovakia, not Chechnya, Czech Republic.
The countries of the European Union should stick together and even build up a stronger relationship for the sake of the EU. Because we cannot deny the fact that new parliaments of the European Union are coming from our generation or even younger generations. It is our job to make sure that the EU stays strong. I wish you all a fruitful day in Euroscola. Thank you.
We think it's very important for different member states of Europe to work together, to pull together, to defend our values and to promote friendships between us.
In today's world of wars, marked by civil unrest and fear for terrorism attacks, we must come together to protect our common humanity.
As Jesse Jackson pointed out, at the end of the day, we must go forward and not backwards by fear and division.
I just really want to use this opportunity to say that all of us that are sitting here today are the future of Europe, and we have the voice. Thank you.
I'm Anne Sander. I am from Strasbourg, but I am an MEP for the eastern part of France. You are the Europe of today, but you are the ones who are going to build the Europe of tomorrow. And your questions are of great interest to me.
Could you explain, please, why most MEPs recently voted in favour of a resolution granting more confidentiality to companies, and this was only a few days after the Panama Papers scandal, so it seems rather paradoxical. At the beginning, as I say, it wasn't a critical question. It's gained in political importance since then. We've had the LuxLeaks since then. There have been other disclosures, the Panama Papers and so on. But to begin with, as I say, it was a technical matter. The European Parliament's been working on it for quite a long time, but initially the idea was that secrets should be protected. What do we mean by that? Well, it means kind of, the recipes that companies have in the food industry. It could also be various designs that would be protected in relation to products. So, firms have to have these secrets and they have to be protected, but not like a patent. At European level, we already have a patent protection system for protecting inventions, but this was more a case of procedures, processes and know-how. All that should be protected as well, particularly in small and medium-sized companies. Big companies have their own legal departments. They have access more easily to the patent system, but smaller and medium companies don't have such easy access. So the idea initially was to order protection to small and medium-sized companies, protection against theft of processes and so on. The legislator, the lawmaker, has taken account of whistleblowers and journalists in the text. So, there's a bit of misinformation out there about this, because there is provision in the text. Whistleblowers and journalists that can alert people to problems like this, and it is possible for the public to be informed about illegal practices. That's all provided for in the text. I was part of the committee that drafted the text, and I'm very pleased with it. I think it will make a good contribution and will help our SMEs, and we need SMEs for jobs and so on, and for growth.
I have a question regarding the immigrant crisis that is happening in Europe right now. So it's quite obvious that people are fleeing a terrible war in Syria, and a lot of these people seek new homes in Europe. But unfortunately, a lot of member states in this union do not take responsibility in giving these people new homes. I wonder how the EU copes with that, and how you feel about the mixed message that this sends to the rest of the world, having a union that cannot unite under this very important question.
I think we should be able to make a difference between political refugees who are truly threatened and whom we should welcome, for whom we should find solutions, and economic migrants who are not threatened by death in their country, but who are affected by very dire economic situation. We need to be able to make a difference between the refugees and economic migrants, who unfortunately we cannot welcome. So the European Union should have the necessary tools, or create the necessary tools. It's true that we have great difficulties in making headway in this area because there is no common will to resolve this. So what has the Union done so far? It has provided funds for humanitarian aid, quite sizable funds. The European Union also finances operations in the Mediterranean Sea to save migrants. Unfortunately, it's not sufficient. And there has been another tragedy last week where more than 500 migrants died. They simply drowned. This is unacceptable. But we also need to intervene at the very root of the problem. It's more difficult. We need to find solutions in the countries where people are encountering all these difficulties. There are diplomatic démarches that are being taken. There are meetings in Geneva between the representatives of the European Union and the Americans, Syrians, and Russia. So this, of course, takes months and months. It's not something that can be settled rapidly. But that's where the problem lies, the conflict in Syria. Then the problem in Libya. You need to find leaders in Libya so that we can move towards a political solution. The situation is extremely complex. It's not something that will be resolved overnight. But at any rate, the European Union is carrying on work. We have this agreement with Turkey, which is not necessarily a good agreement from my point of view, but we need to move forward with that agreement because we need Turkey. Turkey is an economic partner, a political partner, but with whom we have difficulty to move forward. And we've put in the same basket negotiations about accession of Turkey and refugees, but Parliament has expressed its position, and we will see how things will evolve. But we need to devise a true asylum policy at European level. Slowly, it will only be resolved if we have a European solution and solidarity.
Do you think that the current rise of many nationalistic parties in all over Europe, for example in Germany, could be seen as a threat for the stability of the entire European Union?
That concerns me, worries me, and I think that we need we should be in a position to find solutions at a European level to reassure people, but we also have to devise economic policies to create employment. Because when people can work, can live and work in good conditions, well, that is the best thing that will fight nationalism. I always take the example of France, but when you look at other member states, these parties are not yet in power, apart from Poland. European Parliament and Commission are watching very closely what is happening there, because there is fear for democracy. But we all need to be vigilant, and I hope that you, young people, you will not be hoodwinked by such populist discourse. What do the populists say? Something very simple, but if you think that the solution for the difficulties that we are up against, if such solutions were so easy, nobody would have implemented them. I belong to a political group, and there are other political democratic groups in this European Parliament who have the honesty of saying things clearly and say that we cannot find a solution overnight. We have to confront our responsibilities and speak honestly. But these nationalist parties, they use demagogy, and people who are in dire situations are more receptive to such speeches.
When discussing on the sustainable development issue, our main points were that the EU must increase taxes on unsustainable energy and simultaneously promote the use of sustainable development by investing on grants for films and series that promote sustainable development. In addition, another view was that we could invest on educational programs such as Erasmus+, and increase the discussions and awareness of the greenhouse effect and consequences of burning of fossil fuels, such as acid rain. Furthermore, it was decided that the EU must invest on research in order to improve the efficiency of sustainable sources of energy, such as solar, wind, and geothermal. In addition, we had a really long discussion concerning the education. We came into a conclusion that education, there must be an enforcement on a subject educational that concerns the environment. Although there are some education programs that involve the issue of the environment, not many people are taking this course. So we suggest that this must be an enforcement of law.
I would like to ask you that, did you talk about the foreign countries? So should Europe promote its program to foreign countries as well concerning sustainable development? Thank you.
Well, we haven't discussed this issue, but we discussed that within the European Union, we must really take actions to reduce global warming and increase the green sustainable sources of energy.
Regarding freedom of speech, we have decided that the European Union should promote and fund, not fund, but support the member states' education who implement plans for a curriculum that includes a course which gives students basic information about freedom of speech, what it means, why it is important, and how it should be used. Regarding anti-propaganda, since we find that there are a lot of very sensitive groups that are exposed to propagandas of hate, we should promote the value of peace. And these messages, these anti-propagandas, should be spread across many mediums, such as the internet. And it is really for, in order to help them understand why it is important and why it's a value for us. I mean peace. Regarding right for shelter, we have decided that every member state should support a person if he loses his or her home, and as soon as possible in any case.
The economic crisis doesn't mean we should stop helping. Each country gives a percentage of its production to external help, and what we should take in mind is how to make sure we get our money to the right place. There should be a contract with the countries we help, so that we have a working European group inside the government to ensure the money really does help. We discussed that education is a very important area we should help develop so that the country starts developing itself and needs less help over time. Right beside it, there should be a health, because a healthy population is fundamental for the education system to work. Also, we should take in mind the building of roads and infrastructures in order to create new jobs.
Employment is the foundation of a better future. If you get a good job which pays well, a better future is almost guaranteed. However, to get a good job, you must go to university. It is now the case in Europe that some hard-working students cannot afford to go to university. I believe this is unjust and unfair. My group and I have found a way to right this wrong. We believe that if companies pay for students of their choice to go to university, they in return will receive tax reductions and a contract with the student to work at the company for a certain period of time. This idea means that hard-working students who deserve a better standard of living receive a better standard of living. Our third point focuses on the ever-worsening problem of global warming. We believe if there is an EU directive to teach environmental studies and European studies in all post-primary schools in Europe, we as a generation and many generations to come will be able to keep our environment clean and safe, and be able to fight global warming, ensuring a safer future for all. I, as a student, feel that not enough is thought about environmental and European issues in school, and therefore I feel that not enough is being done and not enough will be done to combat these issues. At this time, I remember a quote from Sitting Bull, the leader of the Native American tribe, the Apache, and he said, "We belong to the earth does not belong to us." These issues are important and should be taken into consideration, and I believe they should be completed. But it is infinitely more important that you, all of you, as citizens of Europe, take care of your planet and fight for your own better future. Thank you.
Regarding the fundings for universities, and as we all know, we come from different countries, different standards of living, and we have different opportunities of performing in school. And do you really think that that these fundings will help the right people, or will it just segregate people and make it even harder for those who start out on the lower level? Thank you.
I believe if we bring in the another point I was talking about, the same teaching program, the same level and standard of teaching all throughout Europe, That should therefore mean that every student has an equal opportunity to succeed, and the only difference is how hard the student works. So it wouldn't really be segregation, it's just basically who works hard, and all to do with equal opportunity.
The priority is not to integrate economic migrants, but it's to give precedence to human rights. So economic migrants would be returned to their countries. So the best would be also to intervene in the countries where there is conflict and send humanitarian aid. And it's important to demonstrate to refugees that they can live in all the countries of the European Union and not only Germany. So this integration could be very positive. For example, in a small city in Italy, this small town was practically disappearing from the map, but migration has helped it to maintain itself. We stressed the factor of education. Education should be provided to refugees. I think free language courses in the culture of the country should be given so that each refugee will understand fully the country where he or she is going to be integrated.
There is not enough information given about the job opportunities during secondary school education. Students are expected to decide what they want to do with their lives, probably at the age of 18 when they are going to university, yet it's really hard to decide what direction to take without any guidelines. So a solution would be a program introducing them to different jobs, to students trying to decide what university to go to. As minimal or no experience is a huge problem as well. There's a 20% youth unemployment rate and a 9% overall unemployment rate. A possible solution would be a mandatory job internship during tertiary education, or a government-supported abroad studies for language and experience acquisition, such as Erasmus. And even though Erasmus exists, very few people exploit this opportunity. And now more suggestions, which are certainly not less important. Labor is expensive. Youth is not trusted, therefore they are not hired. A solution possibility would be, as we all know, taxes are paid after each employee by the company to the government. So lowering the taxes paid after young employees would result in youth more likely to be hired because it's cheaper. In addition, a written contract clearly stating that the salary and job description to defend the rights of these young people in case they were hired but expected to do something else, for example, make coffee or take notes or something like that. Another thing is creating new workplaces. The best way to reduce youth unemployment is creating new workplaces, since average age people are already employed most of the time. So a way to do this would be foreign companies from wealthier countries with a lower unemployment rate creating workplaces in another country who would support this company. I mean, the government would support this company.